Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of this chapter. Now we are going to talk about baselining. A practice related to benchmarking is baselining, in which the organization conducts an initial assessment of the current performance, and that is being known as a baseline. The process of recording current performance can be referred to as internal benchmark, with the first benchmark constitute the baseline. So, in information security, baseline measurement of security activities are being used to provide a basis for comparisons of organization current performance against their future kind of a security performance that they're going to have. So let's look at some of the support for benchmark and baseline. Basically, by benchmarking based on the recommended practices, we can actually put together the desired outcome of the security process. Then we can work backward to achieve an effective design of methodology. NIST, National Institute of Standard Technology, they offer some publication that's basically written to support baselining activities. So there are a few of them at NIST that you can take a look at. One of them is SP 800-27, which talks about engineering principles of information technology security. So that's a good baseline that you can use. Also, SP 800-53 is security and privacy control for federal information systems. And then SP 800-53, which is assessing security and privacy controls in federal information system and organizations. So these documents, they are available at the NIST website, and you can actually find them by going, also looking at maybe the search.org, maybe also some things that might helpful for in order to find more information about benchmark and baseline on techforum.com, the Technology Manager Forum, and Information Security Forum. Some companies also sponsor seminars and classes that basically help you with recommended best practices in information security as well. The Gartner Group has also published 12 questions that can be used as a self-assessment for recommended security practices. Basically, these questions, they are put together into 3 different categories. One about people, second about processes, and third about technology. Let's look at each of these categories and look at what kind of a question they came up with. So in the people category, you can look at some of the questions such as, do you perform background check on all of your employees with access to sensitive data? Would the typical employee organize a security issue? Would the typical employee choose to report it? Would a typical employee know how to report it? So this is something that maybe you want to consider in terms of people practices. The other one is about processes of your companies. Is the enterprise security policy updated on at least annual basis? Are the employee educated on those changes? Are they being enforced? Does your company follow an update or patch management, update and management and evaluation process to prioritize the new security vulnerabilities? Are the user account of former employee immediately being terminated? Are the security group represented in all ages of the project lifecycle for the new project? Again, these are some of the things that we need to look at when we are developing our security practices. Then in terms of technology, is every possible network route to the internet protected by properly configured firewall? Is sensitive data on laptop and remote systems secured? Are your information asset and the system that are regularly asset for security exposure using a vulnerability analysis methodology? Are system and networks regularly reviewed for malicious software? So these are some of the questions that the Gartner Group has came up with. Also, PCI, the Payment Card Industry Security Standard Council, has also published data security standards. So they call it PCI DSS. So that is also being considered the recommended or maybe the best practices for the organization that are basically using the credit cards such as MasterCard, Visa, and so on. So they also follow 6 areas with 12 requirements. So the first area is in terms of build and maintain a secure network and systems. Basically, maybe you can install and maintain a firewall configuration, and then the company don't use vendor supply default for the system passport and other security parameters. The second area is basically protect the cardholder data. So the focus should be on protecting stored cardholder data. And also you need to have some kind of encryption transmission of those data. And then the third area that they focus on is maintain a vulnerability management program, which actually protects all systems against malware and regularly update some kind of by doing antivirus software. And then also develop and maintain security systems and applications. The fourth area that they are focusing on is implementing a strong access control measurement. Basically restrict access to cardholder data by business need to know. So just those people who need to know should have access to those cardholder data. And basically identify and authenticate access to the other system components as well. And then restrict physical access to the cardholder data. The fifth area that they are actually consider is regularly monitor and test the network in order to track and monitor all access to the network and resources that has the cardholder data information, and also regularly do some tests on the security system and processes. And then sixth area that they are focusing on is maintaining an information security policy. So that by having a policy, they can address the information security for all the personnel. The standards are published through the PCI Security Standards Council, but they are being enforced through the individual card vendors. So in order to be qualified to collect payment for a particular card, the company should coordinate closely with a particular bank or card processing center to determine what the specific requirements are mandated for that particular card. So in a lot of organizations, it's just basically using a card swap device at the POS terminal, and the requirements are basically minimal. So basically, these devices, they can provide the credit card processing service and only communicate with that center for approval with the point of sales terminal to provide an approval code. So in order to find more information on the PCI DSS, you can go to PCISecurityStandards.org, and then you will find all of the standards that is necessary in order to accept the payment methods. The next thing that we are going to look at is basically we are going to look at performance measurement in the information security management.